Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to TCR. And for the second day in a row, hello, my name is JB, and I'll be taking you through tonight's proceedings. But I'm not on my own for the first time, well, I've ever met him. I am joined by an Australian. This should be fun. An Australian, a Briton, running an American league. This should be fun. Hello, Smeg. How are you doing?
a British commentator and an Australian commentator working together for this North American racing racing league. It's an absolute pleasure to return back here to TCR for the Platinum Series, ready to do some commentating here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. It should be an absolutely fantastic session ahead of us.
It really will be. Before we do anything else, though, let's take a look at the championship standings, because after last week's controversial game disqualification, Codemasters, Joe Breezy leads the championship from Seafreeze in P2. Dougie Falcons is in P3, ahead of Go-To-Guy in P4, heading his teammate Zandamar, who's in P5. Talon is in P6, ahead of Fatal and Kyo-Chen, who are in P7 and P8. Kersey is in P9, and Iroh rounds out the top 10. Then, in P11, we have a fair few of these drivers. Let's have a listen to them. Nick Minty, Duff Van Hoist, and Toaster and Bliss Racing are all on the same amount of points for P11. P15 is Sheva Damaso and Kev Berge. P17 is Mick. P18 is Secret. P19 is Giant, Johnson, Alex, sharing that with Be Good Fever. The championship standings for the constructors are Haas on 209 points ahead of Toro Rosso in P2. McLaren is in P3 ahead of Red Bull, who's in P4. Alfa Romeo is in P5 ahead of Williams in P6. That's nice to see Williams high up in the championship. Ferrari is in P7 ahead of Renault in P8. Racing Point is in P9, obviously not having the right Mercedes car, but the one from 2010 seems to be more akin to it. 2019 championship winners, though, for real Formula 1, Mercedes languishing in P10. And Smeg, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm just looking at the championship table and just getting an understanding of who's going to be where for this Italian Grand Prix, rather. And I'm just looking at these lap times, and holy moly, they're quick. There's already a 19.4 at the top of the table for the McLaren driver. I mean, I do a couple of leagues in here in Australia, and to have 19s right out of the blocks, oh boy, I'm in for a show tonight, aren't I? Oh,
you most certainly are.
Tonight. For me, it's midday, because that's how Australia works. It's all opposite over here.
And what you don't know is actually he's sat on his ceiling right now watching this race because he's upside down.
Oh my, here come the jokes, here they come, all the stereotypical stuff.
If I bang the floor in the right place, you'll hear him fall over and hit the floor.
Oh, right, then. Yeah.
That's the last one.
Here they're coming out.
Oh,
now, well, I'm sure you've got plenty more.
Actually, that's my last one. That's the last one I've got planned. But the driver that has just joined us, Failed UX, was a driver that won last night. And I implore you, if you haven't watched the Golden Class race from last night, really go back and watch it. It was thoroughly entertaining, and I can't thank any of the Golden Class drivers enough for allowing me to commentate there. But I want to draw your attention, Smeg, to the Toro Rossos, because Seafreeze just got a wonderfully nice tow off his teammate Kersey, who's currently sat in provisional pole position. And you got to think, you see, we saw it last week. I wonder if the team are favouring the champion, Seafreeze.
I think they would be, considering the championship itself. They want to try and go for both titles, and Seafreeze is in a fantastic position to take a title. Now he's coming across the line and sets a 1 minute 19.387, puts in pole. Look at that between the Toro Rossos. That is absolutely brilliant. 0.003 of a second separating first and second place. Absolutely brilliant teamwork from those two.
If you could not tell, you could not fit a cigarette paper between the two cars. That's a nice old Murray Walker quote right there. TCR does not endorse. TCR does not endorse smoking, obviously.
No. Yeah, of course.
But I don't know if you know, Smeg. Next season is season 10 of TCR.
10. That is awfully long time, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're making a slight regulation change in terms of the assists that drivers are allowed to use for season 10.
So, as normally discussed, the Platinum class is the non-assist division. So all the drivers have to use everything off, manual ERS, manual gearbox, no traction control. If I did it, I'd normally end up looking like Michael Schumacher after his ski accident. That was a joke in poor taste. I really shouldn't make that one, but I'm still going to. I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to style it out.
I mean...
Next, but this season they allowed the racing line. Next season, though, that's all gone. The drivers have to find their own racing line, and they're going to have to learn to stick with it, stick it out, know the braking points, know which way the track goes, and deal with it sooner. And I couldn't say anything more, Smeg, than I'm damn excited for this week, for next season.
Oh yeah, it's when the drivers do proper pretend race cars for next season. The drivers have to actually properly learn this. Oh well, yes, of course. But, the drivers will now have to go out of their way to try and properly learn the circuit, learn the braking points, learn the turning points. They won't have a guide for them to follow anymore. So it will properly determine the skill level of some of these drivers, their ability, their own intuition towards certain racetracks and towards the game itself, and maximising each and every part of the game to try and get victory. Because, yeah, these guys are incredible talents, so all of them have got plenty of skill. It's just a matter of intuition and just learning the racetrack and learning the absolute most about each and every racetrack and maximise every part of it. It'll be a very, very interesting season indeed. These guys go absolutely no assists.
It will be very interesting with a new game, a new set of cars, and a new bit of fun, and cars that we, to be honest, haven't seen at all this year. I wonder why that is.
Yeah, I've got no idea. I wonder where they've all gone. We saw in pre-season testing, we saw a little bit of that.
Yeah. You know what the worst thing is, though? Williams actually turned up. They actually turned up on time this time. So it's great.
It's incredible, isn't it?
I know. And then they just all disappeared. It's weird.
It's just gone.
Yeah, like it's odd, isn't it? It's mental. Thank God for TCR.
That's incredible. At least we got some fantastic content to watch here. Hopefully we'll see a typical Monza race. A typical Monza race is typically fantastic, so...
Well, last night, I didn't want to spoil it for you, but last night we saw the event of 3 safety cars. Xander Marco's fastest, a 1:19.258. That is a monstrously quick time from the Canadian driver. So Spencer putting his mark on the track today, and it wants to be for the Haas team.
Do you think we'll see similar events here in the Platinum class, seeing so many safety cars, or do you think with the heightened skill level, it'll be a bit more calmer here today at Monza?
I'd love to see a race where they all have fun, but I think we may see a safety car again, possibly 2. We had 3 safety cars, 2 proper safety cars, and a virtual safety car last night. So I think if we do see, I tell you what, Iroll's got some great tow here from both Red Bulls. He's got a very distant tow. He's going to really help him out, the man in the Ferrari, who obviously wants to take the front row for the Italian squad. But I'd like to see a safety car tonight. I just don't want to see it at the expense of another driver.
Oh, of course. That's a problem with us commentators. You want to support the drivers and their talent around circuits, but you don't mind a safety car or two just to shake things up and make the races a bit more exciting. And as proven last night in the Golden Championship, safety cars are quite prominent as Kurtzy now goes fastest with a 1:19.2. It is super close between these guys. Typical Monza stuff, only 11 corners around this circuit. It requires an incredible amount of precision around here. One single mistake, and that's pretty much your entire lap ruined around Monza. So, yeah, it's fantastic to see how close it is between these guys.
Joe Breezy in the 24 McLaren is absolutely pulling along the Racing Point behind him. He looks to be bailing. No, he doesn't bail into pit lane. He's going to cross the line. He was perfectly sector 2. He's fastest of 1:19.1. What a phenomenal speed for the McLaren.
I mean, that's a whole 1/10 of a second quicker than Kurtzy. I mean, that doesn't sound like much, but at Monza, that is plenty of time to be found. Absolutely superb drive from Breezy there. Yeah, 19.1. And I don't know if he got any assistance at all
It
on that
didn't.
lap.
I only joined him as he came through Ascari, but it looked like he did it all completely on his own. It looks like Kurtzy is the one to get the assistance from the Toro Rosso team this time round as they pass the Ferrari of what I believe is I roll. How posh can you say that in one sentence, JB? Right there.
But here comes Seafreeze up to the line. What's this going to be? It's a 19.2 as well. Oh, this is stupidly close at the moment between the top four. Hopefully a couple more guys can join this fun. Oh, less than, a tenth and a half, a bit less than tenth and a half separating the top four at the moment with 5.5 minutes left to go in this qualifying session.
And while they all calm down and have a little moment to head back to pit lane, have a mug of tea, or in Kimi Raikkonen's case, change the steering wheel because he doesn't like it. Let's just mention that did you know, Smeg, that TCR has a Fanatec affiliation?
What? Really? A Fanatec affiliation?
Yes. So after all the streams over, and that was very smooth. It was much smoother last night, but yes.
But yes, I am actually aware of this Fanatec affiliation. I believe there is something in the description of this stream that people watching can use. And 5% of any purchase from them goes to this league, if I'm not mistaken?
I believe so. I don't know the full details because, money is something they don't let me get hold of after I bought that whole Alfa Romeo team and then renamed it Fred. But yes, so after the YouTubers and all of its gubbins and the streamers online, the description will be edited to have the Fanatec link. Have a click at that, have a browse, pick out what you want to buy, and tell them TCR sent you. They might even just say, "Oh my God, why are we still paying them?" But no, we love Fanatec. I don't know about you, but have you ever used a Fanatec?
No, I haven't used a Fanatec, but I heard they're quite a nice wheel to use, a bit more oomph to them in comparison to, let's say, a Logitech.
I've had the fortunate ability to have tried it 2 or 3 times in different styles of Simrig, and my God, it was like my shoulders were getting a workout when I was using it.
Yeah,
I like a heavy car, as Talon pops it into P2.
Oh, 19.2 again.
It's almost dead. Just seeing that 19.201 really annoys me because it's like just go a little bit faster.
It's a little bit faster, and you just get this beautiful 19.2.
Oh, Dougie Falcon's in trouble. Something's gone wrong with Dougie Falcons. I clipped on board with the Red Bull and he was sliding across the track. He's managed to catch it, but his lap has been aborted. It seems that the Englishman is really struggling in this car today.
I was just about to mention, he's only one of 2 drivers who haven't set a flying lap yet. He's down in 17th place. Dead set last out of this field, and he's only got 2 minutes and 50 seconds to try and get back out onto the track to try and set a flying lap. It's not looking good for the Brit at all.
I wonder how many people are going to start playing silly buggers, a bit like in Formula 1 when they reached Monza last year. Oh, I've locked up, I have to go through the escape road. Oh dear.
Yeah, the Renault master plan where they lock up into turn 1 to try and let everyone else through, and then Racing Point had their master plan where Lance Stroll brake checks the entire field behind him during qualifying.
Yeah, but Lance Stroll does that to get podiums.
Oh yes.
In answer to your question, Tim, I personally don't own a Fanatec, but some of the drivers in the league will know. I believe Jones, our dear friend Jones, who is managing our Facebook stream. Hello, Facebook, you industrious low fellow. Jones will know, and I think he might reach out to you and say, "Ooh, I can help," because he's asking about pedals. I don't use pedals. I purely just use other cars to brake.
Yes, that is the ultimate strategy.
TCR does not endorse JB's level of driving.
Yes. It seems that Joe Breezy is on a flying lap as well. Currently, our current pole sitter, 1 minute 19.1.
A little bit slower.
Coming up to the end of sector 2.
Ooh, a little bit faster.
Only just. Oh, it's.
Kurtzy retired.
Has he retired in the pits?
He's retired on the run into pit lane, so he's the car's slowing on pit straight right now, which is going to really cause hindrance to drivers if it just sits on the pit straight. We don't know what's going to do. Joe Breezy powering through Parabolica now, going to just kiss the AstroTurf. No, he doesn't. Is he pulling into pit lane? You know he doesn't. He goes tight, round the outside. Where's he going to go? He's faster!
Oh, it's an 89! He's under the 19s!
What a phenomenal lap time!
Oh my word, that is 2.5 tenths of a second quicker than Talon in P2. That's an astonishing lap.
C3's normally is up and thereabouts with Joe Breezy, but Zandamar has gone faster in Sector 2. What can the 34 Haas car get up to? Canadian-born driver is looking to play in this Monza race. Can he, with no front wing or downforce, because Haas can't seem to get any, we'll see what he can do as he comes through the final corner. Parabolica, one last sweep, tucks the inside. Don't want to go to pit lane, want to kiss this line. If he goes faster, no! Not fast enough.
P4 for him at 19.2, and in the middle of that secret, in the Red Bull, jumps up to P2 with a 1 minute 19.141. So he's on the front row. Seafreeze begins his final flying lap, but he doesn't have the assistance of his teammate. He's going to have to do this all by himself, try and bring himself further up the leaderboard. And I believe Dougie Falcons is on a flying lap as well.
He is. We do have the Alfa Romeos playing Mr. Toe. Both Alphas on a lap right now. Sorry, Talon not on a lap, it's his AI. It's really helping out Doff. Doff Van Hoist crossing line is P8 for the Alpha driver. Where's Dougie? Well, hold on, where's Seafreeze?
Seafreeze is coming out of the second Lesmo. Dougie's coming out of a Scari.
Let's watch Dougie. Dougie's overtaking his teammate. Where can Dougie go? Third in the championship. What can he do in this race? He comes through, struggled in qualifying. Is there going to be an improvement on P17? He tucks the inside. He doesn't touch that white line as much as everyone else. It's P4 finally. Finally a lap time. Not enough.
Oh, and Seafreeze is looking really good at the moment. He's up by 1.5 tenths in the second sector. This might be a pole time.
It is!
And it is! It's an 18.8! Without the assistance of his teammate, he still goes pole. That is a superb lap from Seafreeze.
Honda power unit showing that it's the faster engine here at Monza, taking the fight, and the nearest Ferrari powered car is in P4, and it's not a Ferrari, it's an Alfa Romeo.
It's an Alfa Romeo. It's the other Mamma Mia mobile in P4 with his teammate in P9, and the Ferrari's P10 and 11. The Tifosi won't like that at all, them being outside of, or pretty much hanging outside of the top 10.
The other Italian team, though, their driver taking pole position and P7 in the race. This will be interesting to see come the race, because the top 10 all
Talon's
qualifying.
Car.
Go on.
Have a look at Talon.
Oh, I just missed it. What was happening?
His car is very much dead. Coming into Parabolica.
As opposed to
his
partly
front
dead.
Right wheel is completely destroyed. I wonder if he's gotten a penalty, because the game does stupid stuff like that, and it doesn't appear that he has.
Let's check.
So that's good to see.
No penalty for him. I see a lot of people speeding in the pit lane. We'll run through the grid for you now. We'll do run through the top 10. Seafreeze in P1 ahead of Joe Breezy in P2. Secret in P3. Talon is in P4. Dougie Falcons is in P5. Sandemar is in P6. And Kurtzy is in P7. Damaso is in P8. Doff Van Hoist is in P9. And iRoll is in P10. We'll run through the rest of the grid and the tyres they're on where we head over to the formation lap. But strategy round here is king, isn't it, Smeg?
More or less. It's a soft medium strategy, if my memory serves me correctly, but because of the prevalence of safety cars around this circuit, I won't be too surprised if I see 11 through to 17 start on the soft compound tyre, as it gives the greatest amount of flexibility in terms of strategy, particularly if there's a safety car earlier in the race.
Normally around lap 10 we will see the soft runners pit. If we're green the whole way, we'll see them pit for the hard compounder tyres. Medium runners will pit probably for the hard tyres later on in the race, around possibly I think lap 15 they pit. Don't quote me on that, we didn't exactly have a clean race yesterday.
Let's see. The drivers are just fine-tuning their setup, fine-tuning their car, as it's still loading. Okay.
Yeah, they're all just making sure all of their stuff are ready. The team's obviously
Oh,
having to
that's
work
right.
on the car.
I keep forgetting that I'm Australian, so it's going to take a while.
Well, the team, it's really difficult because the teams are trying to work on the cars, but have to be 6 feet away from each other. So in order to put the tyre on, one has to go put it on, the driver has to get this tow rope and hold it while he's in the car, and then they have to walk over, put it on, then walk away.
This is the world we live in, folks, at the moment. The
What can we
precautions
say?
that needed.
I mean, that's the thing, though. When it comes to closed-door racing, can you imagine how silly it's going to be? Because people will just say, they're not doing social distancing. In that particular accent.
In that particular accent. Oh, dear. It'll be a very interesting time once motorsport starts up back again, in the real world, of course. Just to see how it all actually plays out. And when it actually starts to come back will be another interesting thing as well.
In Formula One's case, they're talking about Austria being the first race of the season, and then Silverstone being the second and the third, which I think is a quite nice season. Yeah,
to have 2 Grand Prix at Silverstone will be quite the event. Silverstone typically gives out very good racing, so it'll be great to watch.
So, because this is such a short lap here, let's run through the grid one more time. And the tyres are on. C3 is in P1 ahead of Joe Breezy in P2. The championship fight is going to go down to the wire in this series. Only, I think, 11 points separating them in this coming into this race. Secret, the lead Red Bull, is in P3 ahead of Talon, who's in P4. Dougie Falcons, the man third place in the championship, has a little bit of work to do today. He's in P5. Zandamar is in P6 ahead of Kurtzy, who's in P7. Damaso is in P8 and Doff Van Hoyst is in P9. I rolled the lead Ferrari is in P10. Outside the top 10 and with free tyre choice, yes, free, we didn't have to pay for them. Toaster is in P11 on the medium compounded tyres ahead of Mick, who's in P12 on the soft compounded tyres. Watch out for him at the start. Go-To Guy is in P13 on the medium compounded tyres ahead of Professional, who's in P14 on the medium compounded tyres. Be Good is also on the mediums in P15 ahead of Fatal, who's on the medium compounded tyres. Dre, the reserve driver, is in P17 running the medium compounded tyres, and Failed UX in the Mercedes, reserving for the Mercedes team after last night's win in the Golden Class. No setup on the car of his own. He's running a base setup due to missing qualifying. He's going to have some work to do with the soft compounded tyres on his car. Smeg, are you excited?
I am excited. I'm very excited for this. And just to note, with the drivers outside of the top 10, a lot of them opting for the medium tyre, so they're obviously feeling that there's not going to be a safety car coming into turn 1. And I believe we're going to have a safety car into turn 1, because this is Monza, ladies and gentlemen. There is always death at turn 1, lap 1 at Monza. But if there isn't, we'll see death at Ascari anyway, so it should be a very entertaining race.
27 laps of racing about to begin here in Monza. The Italian Grand Prix, the 5 red lights are clicking on. The lights are on now. The lights are going out now. It's a great start from P2. Initially, Joe Breezy getting the better start than C3's. C3's tucking behind. Here come the Red Bulls. Look at the Red Bulls. Slipstreaming, fighting. C3's is in third. And there's contact. The Red Bulls having to go wide. Who was that? It was Dougie.
Dougie had to completely cut the chicane at turn 1. But it seems everyone has got through relatively okay.
Into Curve de Grande for the first time.
No one's crashed.
Into chicane 2. We see everyone getting ready to touch round. The Red Bull driver still going side by side around Talon. Where is Dougie? Dougie bails out. He's being passed by Zandamar. They're side by side. Dougie's being shafted out a little bit. And there is Kurtzy trying to slip back around the inside. We saw drama here through the Lesmos in the Golden Class.
That's Mick McCoy in the Renault. He has spun round at the first Lesmo, and somehow he tips it out of... I thought he was going to put it in the wall then, but he hasn't.
Damage to his front wing. Heavy damage. He'll be heading to pit lane this time round as we keep an eye on C3's, who's caught up the gap massively to Joe Breezy, the McLaren, under pressure. No one to help him as C3's goes, right, you took my pole, I'm going to take that win.
Coming through Parabolica now. Now he'll have a massive amount of slipstream here coming onto the pit straight. I wonder if he'll try and move coming into turn one. The rectifilio chicane, heavy braking zone. It's very much possible. You can see him gaining and gaining and gaining. Here we go into the braking zone. He goes to the inside, but Breezy
Can't do
just
it.
a bit
Look at the
braver on
background. Look at Dougie Falcon's running around the outside of Zandamar. He shoves him and says, right, I'm not happy with you. And Dougie getting a dose of karma there because here come, trying to overtake one car. He's losing 3 positions because of it.
Oh, dearie me, Dougie. You could see him cut turn 2 massively there, and it's just ruined all of his momentum. And he's fallen down to P8 coming into Della Roggier. But he's now side by side with Damaso going through. Oh, and he now takes P7 away from the McLaren with Iroll right in behind.
Sector 2 yellow flags. It's a Mercedes of some kind. I believe it's
Be Good.
Be Good Fever struggling in the background. He's now causing a yellow flag. Did he just hit the curb wrong, do we think?
I think so. I think he did it by himself. I might just check the warning list just to see if there was any sort of contact that come up. No, there hasn't. I think he's just done that by himself. Now,
back up to the lead of the race.
Again. Look at that. He's right up in behind Breezy's gearbox coming through Parabolica. Breezy just missing the apex just a little bit. It's cost him a little bit of a run coming onto the pit straight. Breezy might have to go defensive here into turn 1.
He can't get that.
He just opens the door.
Is he going to try and tuck underneath? And remember, DRS is not enabled there yet. The Red Bull is Secret trying to get past Talon, but Breezy knowing that he can't overtake Seafreeze this time round. Look at though, Secret saying, right, I'm overtaking. And then you see Curtsy in the background saying, no, let me through. And the Italian team versus the American team.
Yeah, it's been side-by-side action for a couple of drivers between first and second, third and fourth, fifth and sixth, and 7 and 8. They were all side-by-side going into turn 1. It was a very nice shot to look at from my view. And yeah, Curtsy and Zandamar fighting side-by-side through Rettifilio. Curtsy coming out on top for now. But with DRS enabled, this battle for the lead is just going to get really juicy, I think. Breezy with DRS. He's going to try and catch up to the back of Seafreeze and try and overtake him. Probably into turn 1, I'd imagine.
Was Seafreeze and then what? Seafreeze making a mistake into Ascari. Joe Breezy will have the run towards Parabolica now. This is obviously where Count Wolfgang, what's his name, died in 2000. 2000? Christ, I'm miles off there. 1950 something. I'm going to stop with that piece of history.
What's his name?
I can't think of his name right now. I'm British. I ain't interested.
Tricks is the driver you're trying to think of.
Von trips over himself. DRS open for Seafreeze. He heads towards turn 1. Trips over Jim Clark.
That is
Seafreeze.
That is...
Is that better or worse than the Michael Schumacher joke?
It's probably on par with the Michael Schumacher joke, if I'm honest. That's a fatal area where Wolfgang von Trips, some say he's Germany's first Formula One star, tragically lost his life while fighting the championship against Jim Clark. Yeah, I can't remember who he made contact with, but yes.
It was Clark.
Was it Clark?
It was a little bit of contact with Clark. He just sent him into the air.
Oh, dear me. Yes, it was a very sad moment indeed in Formula One history that we just made a joke about.
Oh, well, it's alright, Gio Bianchi's next. Secret is trying to put pressure on Talon. I can make the jokes, I like yours. And I've got someone sharing activity on PlayStation. Thanks, Pro Oliver, for sharing my activity. Maybe not during a stream, thanks. Secret now putting pressure onto Talon. He's going to try and get through, but he's also going to watch his behind. He's got Curtsy right up the gearbox of the sister car. And we're getting to the point now where the tyres are going to start to drop off. What are we thinking, Smeg?
Well, I think if the green flag running continues, we'll just see the regular stops that you mentioned pre-race. Drivers will come in, switch onto the hard tyre. Maybe some will gamble with the medium tyre if they feel cocky enough, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Talon and Secret rubbing tyres. They run through Curb de Grande. It seems a little bit of lag in the lobby.
Oh, here comes Courtesy coming into Della Rogier, and Secret comes out on top. And there's some more. And Zandemeyer has cut the chicane entirely.
I
And he
roll
gets
his
a
hit the
3-second
gravel.
Oh, dearie me. I was just about to point out, there is a colossal train in the mid-pack. Like, usually you get these groups of drivers at Monza. You get maybe groups of 4 or maybe 3 drivers sort of hang around each other and battle. But not in this case. We're 5 laps in, and we have got one almighty slipstream train.
Jarno Trulli would be very
on.
proud.
The Trulli train, indeed. Currently led more or less by the Red Bull of Secret. I mean, these guys are almost within a second of each other, except for Damaso. He's 1.3 behind. And I saw an end. Talon and Courtesy! Oh my goodness. At Parabolica, how on earth have you two fellas done that?
So Courtesy making contact with Talon. Talon in the wall. Can Talon get the car restarted as he hit him?
Talon almost did a Vettel. Oh my dearie me. But this time at Parabolica, not at Ascari. It's the same driver that could have been involved as well. A Racing Point, it's professional in 14th place. But how on earth did they do that? What laws of physics did they just break in order to do that kind of thing? Over them into the inside wall at Parabolica.
Must have been contact. I roll passing Doff Van Hoist. Doff Van Hoist forced to cut the chicane as I roll is holding no prisoners as I roll normally doesn't. What can Fatal get up to as he tries to get past him as well? But these guys are racing hard.
Oh, the Mercedes has spun into the wall at the first Lesmo. The back end stepped out for the Mercedes and into the inside wall he goes. And he's missing an end plate as well. That's going to hurt him massively.
Winner yesterday in Golden Class, today 0 in the Mercedes, struggling. Here is a 0 in less than 3 seconds.
Oh, and Fatal and Doff Van Hoist are now fighting. Hoist making a mistake at Ascari. Fatal with the slipstream. He moves to the outside, coming into the famous Parabolica curve. But Hoist with that inside line is able to hold on for now. Oh, Fatal try and keep it on the circuit. He does.
Difference in tyre compound there as well.
Yeah, the softs and the mediums. I think now the softs are really starting to switch off and the mediums are starting to switch on. To the inside he goes into Rettifilio. And he moves himself into 9th place. A very straightforward move here at Monza. Just use the DRS, move to the inside, and pretty much get to position. Not much else needs to be said.
Red Bull war begins. Secret now behind Dougie Falcons. Now, at what point did the team say, right, time to swap the driver? Secret seems to be the faster driver this week here in TCR. What can he do as he runs a little bit closer to the curb? Dougie, rear end unstable on the Aston Martin sponsor car. That's disappearing next year.
Yeah, it is too, isn't it? Aston Martin becoming an official works team. And wow, that was easy. That was really easy.
There it is.
Dougie just switching it into nothing and just letting him by.
Hello, folks. That's Christian Horner yelling multi-21.
Multi-21, exactly right. Secret
he says to an Australian person who, obviously, an Australian person involved in that, Mr. Mark Webber. Mark Webber's lovely. He's great.
Mark Webber, he's a lovely driver, is he not? Pity he never won a bloody world title, but oh well.
Oh, he would have had one.
It's just that there was some young German kid who Red Bull favoured a lot.
I've touched on that.
To the point where they won in 4 world titles.
Damaso to the inside line on Xander. He cannot make the move, having to tuck back across Toaster. And Toaster will just go, why are you cutting across me like that? As you see, Fatal and Doff, they're fighting as well. So I doff my hat, but that'd be a fatal blow. There we go, that's 2.
Oh dear me, this is so much fun. Right,
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
So Seafreeze and Breezy.
Fatal making a mistake, rear end locking. Big rear end locking. He could not get the car under control. He had to avoid and go across the curbs and go to guys swing around the outside of the car. The Williams dropping down a third position outside of the points here in Monza.
Well, that's just demonstrating the problems with this circuit. Just one mistake, and that's all it was. Just rear locking, no damage, no nothing. He's now dropped outside of the points. That's how much this track punishes you for mistakes. As now we're starting to see penalties start to come up every so often, and they're going to play a massive part in this race, particularly if there's a safety car and the field is bunched up. So
Battle at the
we'll
top
have to
comes
wait and see
down
how
to
that
less
comes
than
out.
5/10 of a second. Joe Breezy's the
Oh, here we
inside
go.
line, though. He's going to hold him here. It looked like Seafreeze was pitting, but he didn't that time. The Arrow McLaren jumping up the inside, and the Toro Rosso, not AlphaTauri, Toro Rosso is now behind.
Oh, and we've got
as you
some
see.
stuff happening further back as well
Go on.
between
Oh, he's
Zandema
tagged
and
him.
Marso.
He did just tag him a little bit. And I wonder if
And
Red Bull are employing the strategy of we need to slipstream to catch up.
I'll tell you what, I'll keep an eye on that gap between second and third because, yeah, Dougie just made a move on Secret around the outside at Curva Grande and he's made it stick and that gap has closed to now about 4 points.
Normally we wouldn't see overtakes in Curve de Grande unless you're no Charles Leclerc. So that's why I questioned it there. But what do we see? Go on.
It'll be very interesting to see how these two try, if they are indeed working together, or Secret just made a mistake at turn 1 and Dougie moved around the outside. Whether or not these two are actually fighting or working together will be very interesting to see. As
Definitely
we come on to lap 10, there we go. So you think this is
Dougie
about
Falcon
time?
pits.
Oh.
Right
so
on the
he's
money
going
there.
for an undercut.
So that will open the floodgates up, and undercut is king here at Monza. And this is where the problems arise now. When drivers are on worn tyres, drivers are on fresh tyres, and drivers get impatient.
Yeah, you have to really wait around Monza. It's not a bad place to overtake. It's pretty much wait until the DRS zone on the pit straight and just move to the inside and get on by. But the problem is then the one guy behind you, the guy with the worn tyres, he now gets to sit in behind you and use DRS, and some drivers will just pass you and try and battle you for position. And I guess they have that sort of right. It is for position, but it is annoying and it will slow you down.
Incredible! Incredibly close there. Toaster almost running into the back of Damaso. You heard the Ferrari engine just dipping on power because he knew he couldn't get through. Damaso losing power through Esmo 2, and the Ferrari is through. And now here comes I roll, wow, sideways at the exit of Ascari, showing that I roll, the Quebecian, is going to be able to get through. Captain Quebec, as I call him, managing to control the car.
Oh, that was a very big moment at Ascari, and I'm sure it won't be the last moment we'll see as Breezy, Seafreeze, and Secret are into the pit lane. They're making their first pit stops.
Dougie Falcons, the first pitter, is in...
How much of an undercut?
Well, he has to get past at least Joe Breezy. So where's Joe Breezy? Is Joe Breezy rolling down pit lane now? He's out of the pits, in fact. The undercut has not worked whatsoever on 1 or 2, but where... Has he passed his teammate? At least he has.
Yeah, only
but not by much.
Though. Yeah, the undercut hasn't really worked. That is very surprising indeed. I guess it just shows the sheer power of the DRS around this circuit, with Seafreeze and Breezy just sharing that DRS on the previous lap, able to gain a lot of straight line speed and gain a lot of time. Dougie hasn't been able to really make anything of it. In fact, something's happened to Seafreeze. He's now 2.2 seconds behind Breezy.
Now, was he held up in pit lane? Because the McLaren garage is slightly further down, and there was a fair few cars coming in. Sector 3, safety car! Flags. Virtual safety car deployed! 2 cars out! Dre and Fatal.
Both of them at the same place as well, at Ascari.
There's the Williams.
Fatal was the first, and there's the Renault. Was he trying to avoid the Williams and just lost control of his car, I wonder?
The virtual safety car is out, and this is the perfect time. And poor Toaster didn't manage to get the pit lane, neither did Go-To Guy. Our net race leader, Joe Breezy, has now got a bit of respite, and really, that really should be a full safety car. Like, that's a bit naughty.
Of course.
Game. Naughty.
Like, it's not like there is a Williams on the racing line that can't move, and the game isn't ghosting these cars either.
Yeah, remember, these cars the ghosting is off here in TCR. So the virtual safety car will be coming in a few moments' time. It's not normally on for a long time, unless we have a glitch, which would really be frustrating. I think we'll see it come in anytime soon. We'll try and get one restarted with a battle as he has. There we go. Back to Green Flag Racing here, and Be Good Fever getting a great start away from Zandamar, and they will power back up to full racing speed. That's one.
Now,
I was gonna say, yesterday it all seemed well behaved until about lap 12, and then it all seemed to go wrong. Oh, here we have the third commentator.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello, Dre.
How's it going? Yeah, just kind of walk you through. Yeah, what happened was I was following Phil right before we hit pit. We were the last cars that was on the mediums, and Phil lost it at the end of the Ascari. And he was a little ways ahead of me, but his car kind of came back on the track, and I tried to get ahead on him, but it just clipped my tire, and I crashed into him, essentially. I really have nowhere else to go, so I was coming off the Ascari myself, and that's where he crashed. And then I tried to swerve to avoid him. I clipped him, and then I was in the wall, and that was it. So other than that, I thought I was doing okay. Just try to maintain with the pack as much as possible, but that's all right.
So now we can make one more joke: an American, a Briton, and an Australian walk into a commentary booth. Monza.
Commentating an Italian Grand Prix. Oh, you got to love this. It's multiculturalism here at TCR. We're celebrating all different types of nations and cultures here in this league. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And just a thing of note in regards to the two leaders, Breezy and Seafreeze. Breezy is pulling away. The gap previously, just after the safety car came in, was about 2.6, no, it was 2.2, I think, seconds. It's now 2.8. He's pulled away 0.6 of a second on this lap. He's massively quick at the moment, the McLaren driver. And it's not looking good for Seafreeze in the Toro Rosso. Oh, as Dougie has a massive moment at Ascari, dearie me.
I rolled with a 3-second time penalty now as you're looking at him trying to overtake Be Good. We've been watching him on the stream for just a moment as he listened to Dre have a chat as he starts to disrobe himself from the Renault gear. Please not in here, Dre. Please have some dignity.
Oh.
I'm sorry, what?
Go get changed in the team garage, not in the commentary booth. It's already small enough.
You can't get out of your race suit here. Get out of the com box and then get out of your race suit. We don't want to see you start.
Better lag in the lobby, I do apologise. We've been making jokes all night. I think one of us might be drunk. It's me! I don't drink, so that already doesn't work. This will be a fun one to watch back.
But, Trey, how was the conditions out on circuit for your time out there?
It was pretty fine. Because I was reserving, so I wasn't pushing like I was yesterday. But the conditions were pretty well. It definitely feels different. Started on the mediums than when I started on the softs yesterday. The mediums, start off really well, and they felt pretty good even before I crashed out. And so there was times where I felt like I could push if I wanted to, but I think going from yesterday, starting from the soft to the hards, it's probably the preferred one, but there's also a huge difference between the softs and the hards, because the first few laps you're really fast, you can push the car, but then after that, you start to really feel it, even after having safety cars or, virtual safety cars.
The other Renault's out.
The
other Renault is out. So
Mick making a mistake somewhere. And virtual safety car also deployed, and unfortunately Dolph Van Hoist was just about to make a move on Be Good Fever, and then the virtual safety car comes out. What is it today with virtual safety cars instead of seeing the full safety cars? I mean, we saw two yesterday, and now we've seen two virtual safety cars. Dre, turn one here at Monza. Shall we have a word about it?
Yeah, a lot of drivers will lose.
That you go right and left during qualifying at that corner?
Yeah, it gets really tight really quickly when you're going 200 plus miles per hour, and then suddenly you gotta stop on the brake and try to get around there. Fails out.
Yeah, he's retired in pit lane. Was just on board with him, so he's decided last night's race winner. He's decided, had enough. I'll retire.
Yeah, turn one can get really tight, and so not that much room for error, just like a Scary. When you get there, you all pile in there. It's really easy to clip your wing, or you get pushed off. The next thing you know, you're
back
off.
to green flag racing. And a
What
wonderful
a restart
overtake.
from Doffal Hoist. Oh,
Sorry,
that
Jay.
was a brilliant restart. Oh, my word. Doffal Hoist just gone like that. As soon as the green flag came, he went right around the outside of Be Good in the second DRS zone. That was a superb restart from the Alfa Romeo driver.
Be Good's in trouble.
Brilliant.
Here comes Damaso. Apologies, Dre. We'll come back to you in just a moment. But Damaso putting pressure on Be Good, and I think Be Good will be heading to pit lane ever so slightly soon. Those tyres starting to struggle. The 14 laps old. Here comes Damaso to the inside line, and the McLaren facing Mercedes. Next year's partnership being McLaren-Mercedes.
And down the inside he goes into turn one, but Be Good holds it around the outside, but he can't keep the position. Damaso moves himself into the top 10. Yep, exactly right. 10 lap old difference between P10 and P11 there. 5 laps versus 15 laps. Can't put the power down and doesn't have the mechanical grip to maintain the mid-quarter speed, and he loses the position to the McLaren.
So,
other
Dre,
than that,
in the situation you had yesterday with 2 safety cars coming out, would you have preferred the virtual safety cars, or would you have preferred what you had yesterday?
I had a bad start.
Oh, sorry, Iroh making a move into Ascari. What a start! He's spinning! He's trying to catch it, and he has caught it. Apologies, Dre.
As Go is now into the pits as well, and I imagine Toaster is coming in next lap, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Bego should probably come pit soon and she get off those tires as well.
But onto the soft compound tyre does Go. Where's
soft
he going
compound
to come
from
out
here, though?
Bego is coming into the pits now.
Gentlemen, soft compound from here, what do you think? I would rather have gone to the onto a set of hards to know that I would have time. Know that I would still have tyres at the end.
I'm not sure what Go-To guy is doing with the softs there. I would have put the hards on. Because I believe we were on the same strategy. I think we both were on the mediums, and I think he's just not coming to pit for his. But those softs are going to burn out pretty quickly. But, he's right behind everyone, so he might be able to make up a few positions. But I fear by lap 25 or 26, they'll be gone. So,
I've had a little bit of an intuition chat with our YouTube chat. Hello, YouTube chat. If you're on the Facebook chat, hello, Facebook chat. I'm not looking at you. The YouTube chat. So, we had a message from the other Renault driver of Mick. He's saying that failed and him made contact, and he couldn't avoid the car after failed span. Right. And obviously, part of the reason why failed then headed into pit lane and decided that to take away his helmet as Toaster heads into pit lane and has a time penalty now to serve. That will probably get converted to a 5-second time penalty added to the end of his time at the end of the Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so failed and Mick McCote had a little incident coming down the second DRS zone. I thought perhaps that Mick might have made a mistake going underneath the overpass, because I've done that on one occasion that I can remember, just not fully concentrating and hitting the concrete overpass that was, well, it still is today, the oval part of the circuit. They don't use it today anymore. It's a heritage listed site and we can't drive on it for some reason.
Go to the inside line, and Damaso losing out to P9 to the Haas. Go to get so much more speed than his soft compounded tyres.
What I noticed during the race, it was like a long train of cars, just kind of about half a second apart from each other. So everyone got DRS, but it was very difficult to try to catch back up by the time you get to the next braking point.
So Mick just replied quickly to what you were just saying there. Smeg was in fact failed, did make that mistake.
Oh, okay. And you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the car took you out of the session. Okay.
Easily done. Sorry, Joe.
That's really unlucky. That's super duper unlucky. As Havoc on these fresh, soft compound tyres He's now lining himself up to overtake two cars here, his teammate and Zandamar in the half. Where is he going to go? He's going to go down the inside. It's 3 wide.
Oh, there's contact between Zandamar and Toaster.
Oh,
The
contact between teammates. And here comes
Ferrari's
Zandamar.
colliding. Oh, we've seen that before.
Haas versus Ferrari.
Once again.
We've not seen that before.
Oh, dearie me.
Oh, they're coming back around again.
Difference.
They're going to push it 3 wide. He's pushing. He's literally pushing Xandamar.
Oh. I was
And
going to say, here
Iroll's
comes
gonna
Go
think-
to Guy and Doffa Hoist as well. And Damaso. Oh, we got a really juicy battle here.
The fun begins as the laps tick down here in Monza. Ferrari's making contact with Ferrari-powered car and other Ferraris.
Actually, they're all Ferrari-powered cars in this battle, except for Damaso. He's in the McLaren Renault. He's the only odd one out in this situation.
Santa make a dive on the inside, he loses it!
Contact and spins! Oh, no! There goes Zandamar. Oh, don't move.
He's
Jesus.
not done what Sebastian did, but he's got to get off that grass quick. And he's off.
Oh my dearie me! Contact! Contact between himself and I believe it was Toaster going through turn 8, beginning of the Scari.
Just trying too hard to hold on when his tyres are slightly worn. Damaso now looking to the inside line on Doff. Does he go for a Daniel Ricciardo style dive bomb? He decides not to, but he does scare Doff into braking late. Well done to Doff for making that corner. I doff my hat at Dow.
Now, yes, alright, so I roll plate damage. He's got a missing front right-hand side end plate. So
That must have been from the contact between the two Ferraris.
Ferraris, yeah. I thought I saw an end plate come off between the contact, and yeah, just looking back at the Ferrari, he does have a missing end plate as Kirksey gets a 3-second time penalty. We're about to see he's in 10. Oh, and into the... Oh my goodness me, no, that was lag. Thank goodness for that, because...
The go-to guy is making a move on roll right now on the back stretch against DRS.
That front wing damage is really putting Roll under pressure. Take us through the stray.
It's going on through a sky. Let's see if we can put it down. Can't get the power down to catch back up the go-to guy with that damage to a sky because that downforce you really need it, and that allows Doth to catch back up. But Damaso is still catching Doth as well, so this train is kind of broken up a little bit, but they're all still within DRS range, so they can definitely catch back up with each other.
And I think at this stage everyone's a bit too far apart to try and line up and overtake as Toaster sets a new fastest lap of 1 minute 22.1.
I want to correct you on that, Smeg. Talon looking to get his claws into the top 10. He's a little bit further back. Not sure what happened to him this race. He's looking to pass Professional.
Here we go. Coming onto the pit straight away, he'll have DRS. This will be a very straightforward move.
Whoa! How close do you want to get?
Well, I say straightforward. That's if you want to try and make a hash of things. Dearie me. Right up behind his gearbox, he didn't need to get as close as he got, as Breezy gets a 3-second time penalty. Ooh, okay. I might have to keep an eye on the penalties. But yeah, right up behind his gearbox, he didn't have to move so late, but he did, and it almost cost them both of them.
I don't think
Talon now gets 3 seconds.
Talon was expecting the closing distance to be that powerful against the Racing Point.
That could have ended badly. He could accidentally spin him by trying to do that, switching back and forth. So that could have ended badly, but luckily they made it through it quickly, clearly. So, looking at Damaso now, still behind Doff, and Doff doing a fantastic job to block off the Damaso's charge. The Damaso's charge? Oh, English. I'll clear up in a minute. Damaso looking to the inside line. What can he do as he's trying to defend? He's going for it. He's not even trying to take a peek. It's a bit of a lame attempt at an overtake there. Could have ended in tears. He has a better exit.
Here we
Speaking
go.
on the inside now.
It's Curva Grande. They drive well. They're still side by side. The Hoist has the inside line into the Della Roger chicane.
He pushes them wide a little bit there.
And here comes Kirksey. He now takes that ninth place. Oh dear. Dear, oh dear.
So we just saw on the stream that there was a lockup for the Alfa Romeo of Dolph. He locked up, and the McLaren just had nowhere to go but into him.
But the McLaren trying to keep it on the inside into turn 5, and I believe he hits the side pod of hoist, and because of how that works in game, when the front tyres hit the side pod of a car, it pretty much spins out the car that made contact, like what happened to Damaso. And now he's down in 10th place, well behind the pack that were battling for P5.
Professional with a time penalty, and Talon now looking to pass him again. We almost saw this end in tears last time. Dre, what do you think is going to happen this time?
Well, he's had to set it up pretty nicely here. Say he got a lot of ERS right now. He's like on 80%. He's going to go through a lot of it just to try to catch back up. But if he was smart, he would just wait until the end where he can actually make the move at the end of turn 1. He's going to use a lot of his ERS.
Oh, here we go.
Professional is going to block a little bit. He's going to look on the outside.
91 not able to get through.
Oh, overshoots a little bit. That's okay. If he can keep the power down here, he might be able to do it at the end of first sector. I think he's going to back off and wait for another opportunity.
As that's going on, the Red Bulls are now starting to get into a scrap. Oh, Secret, dearie me. He almost loses it at Ascari. He was right in behind Dougie Falcons, 0.2 of a second separating the two. But he's just made a mistake, and he's now outside a 1 second gap to his teammate. Dearie me.
I think Red Bull are going to get to the point where they say, right, you guys don't overtake at all now.
I don't think there's team orders right there.
Well, I do remember Secret getting a 3-second time penalty in the bottom left of the screen, as Be Good gets one. So even if he finds a way past, it will be pretty much irrelevant. Dougie doesn't have any penalties at this stage.
Curtsy's in pit lane. So Curtsy heading to pit lane, but Go-To Guy looking to go round the outside of Toaster. What's going to happen here? Younger tyres, the two Ferrari-powered cars. Toaster having to always across the track.
He tried to slow down, let Go-To Guy go, but he misjudged his braking point and overshot the corner.
Ooh, intriguing. So what did Curtsy pit for?
Don't know. I was going to suggest fastest lap, but now he's outside of the top 10, so he's not able to get that. So, perhaps tyre wear?
Well, Dre, you've raced multiple times this week. The tyre wears, how do the medium tyres go? How long would they go to?
The mediums are actually probably the preferred tire I actually really like, even though most of the drivers probably start on the softs. But starting on the mediums is really good, and they can last about 15 to 16 laps. That's why a lot of drivers went from the softs to the mediums. But also, too, the hards are pretty good. They're pretty consistent on the long end, but they don't allow you to get the grip as you like
Red Bulls make contact! The Red Bulls have hit each other! I apologise for cutting you off there, Dre. Secret just hitting Dougie in the rear end. Dougie's still going on, no damage on either car.
Oh, dearie me, fellas. This is a guaranteed solid points finish for Red Bull. They really just need to calm down at this stage. But it
with
seems
the penalty
that both
situation as well.
Yeah, it's pretty much guaranteed Dougie will finish in P3. So no matter what Secret can do, it's pretty much for nothing. Unless, of course, Dougie gets another warning and then he gets a 3-second time. He's on 2 warnings. If he gets one more, it's 3 seconds. But here we go. And to the outside, and that's very easy for Secret. But I think Dougie is aware of the situation, that he has no penalties. Secret's on 3. So long as he stays within 3 seconds, he's guaranteed that 3rd place. So that might be just a precaution that Dougie...
Be Good round.
Oh, it's Be Good. That's at the Della Roggia chicane. And off
his
into the gravel track.
His tires are on fire right now.
Deary me. It's just a domino effect in this game. As soon as you do one mistake, it just amplifies into another one, particularly when you're not careful.
Especially on the softs as well.
Indeed. But it seems this battle for the win is pretty much sewn up. It seems that Breezy's going to get this quite easily. 6.3 seconds separating the two drivers. Breezy's got 3 seconds in penalties, but even when that is added on, it's going to be quite a comfortable victory. Then a further 12.2
Secret loses
seconds.
badly. Going to the first Lesmo, they're side by side.
Oh, we saw this yesterday.
Dougie gets advantage. Well, Secret gets the DRS, so I think he might be able just to pass him. I hope these guys just don't battle too much here. They don't want to lose out on valuable points.
Well, go to you guys catching. We have got 1 lap to go, and these two are racing like it's 5 laps to go. Look at them. And go to you guys coming.
No.
He's not far away.
Give me a minute.
Go to guy 1.2 seconds off these guys, so probably in the final lap, he can probably be in ERS range.
They're racing.
Sorry to butt in, fellas, but this is actually a bit bigger than we think. Because of Secret's penalty, he's got 3 seconds. Go to guy has nothing next to his name. And just to look at Toaster as well. No, Toaster's, he's got 9 seconds, so no need to worry about the other Ferrari. So their battling is costing them a 3rd and 4th place. It's going to be 3rd and 5th for them because of this continued battle.
At this point, is it going to be 3rd? The final lap had begun a few sectors ago. We'll catch Joe Breezy before he goes across the line. Being a fever with multiple time penalties. These gentlemen, I wonder if Dougie's on the phone to Christian Horner saying, calm him down.
Multi-21, Christian. Multi-21. Deary me. As they come through Lesmo 1 now, Dougie Falcon's leading the way. Now, it's courtesy. That's a 3 seconds. Okay. Coming through the second Lesmo, both drivers, Secret and Go To Guy, will get DRS.
Keep an eye on this,
coming out the last corner.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say, Dre. It's been a dominant win. It wasn't from pole position, but Joe Breezy is about to cross the line, and he will be winning this race in Monza.
Secret's got another 3 seconds. He's now got 6.
Who's going to finish 3rd? Well, it seems like we know who's finishing 3rd, but 4th place is going to disappear from the Red Bull's hands.
Oh, dearie me. Here we go, across the line. Dougie will finish in P3, Secret in P5, I think.
Yep.
P5.
Yep. There we go. Dearie me. The Red Bulls have cost themselves a little bit of constructors' points in that, allowing the Haas to overtake them for P4. Ah, dearie me. It's still a solid points finish, probably the best team out of the lot with a 3rd and 5th place finish. But it could have been a lot better for the Red Bull team.
Joe Breezy wins ahead of C3's in P2. Dougie Falcon taking the final podium place position. What a race that was, gentlemen. 2 virtual safety cars, joined midway through by the Renault driver, Dre. Gentlemen, give me your thoughts, starting with you, Dre.
As a driver perspective, I thought I did pretty well. It was actually pretty fun going through it and hanging with those guys. Unfortunately, I got caught up in an incident, but watching and commentating with you guys, it was a pretty intense race to the end.
And Smeg?
Yeah, it wasn't a too bad race, I have to say. Even without proper safety cars, there was still plenty of action going on all around the field. I mean, I've commentated many Italian Grand Prix, and they're always chaotic and dramatic and whatnot. But this was slightly less so. There was a bit more racing involved in this one, a bit more strategy and overtaking and whatnot, rather than drivers crashing and causing safety cars and havoc. It was quite a refreshing change for the Italian Grand Prix, and it was quite a nice race overall.
So, here are the results barring any stewards' investigations. Joe Breezy finishing in P1, extending his championship lead to C3s, who finishes in P2. Dougie Falcons returning to the podium in P3. Kota Guy finishing in P4 ahead of Secret, who dropped down on penalties to in P5. Toaster, the lead Ferrari, in P6. Damaso is in P7 ahead of Iroll, who's in P8. Dolph Van Hoist in P9, and Zandamar getting the final points main position after his spin at Ascari. Out to the points were Talon in P11, Courtesy in P12, and Professional in P13, Be Good in P14. Drivers who failed to make the flag. Failed quite literally in P15 ahead of Mick, who made contact with the Mercedes. Dre, hello Dre, is in P, who didn't make it to the flag, and Fatal, who also didn't make it to the flag. Oh, that was entertaining.
Well, it's good to be with you guys. I'll let you guys handle the interviews, but it's good to be in a booth with you guys again.
Well, thank you, Dre, and we will hopefully see you again soon here in the Platinum commentary booth.
Take care. Bye.
Have a good time, sir. Okie dokie.
It's always good to try and get a race driver's perspective on the race. It really adds a dimension to it when you've got a driver who was.
Apologies for the screen going blue for just a moment. I'm just going to get the invites done, and I will then get them all sorted, get them in here, and we can have a chat with them. I think Dougie's hanging out offline. Thanks, Mr. Douglas. You're making me work for it. Show check. There he is. Yep. Okie dokie, that's them invited. Apologies again for it going blue. That's all of them invited. Let's get on with the interviews when they join us. Let's get the McLaren up on screen. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Missed it. And Dougie has joined us.
Okay, so we got the third place driver, just waiting on the top two then.
Now, Smeg, would you like to handle the interviews? I don't mind stepping away from the microphone if you are willing to handle it.
I guess I could handle interviews if you allow me to handle interviews. I think we've now got the top three all in the party. Just to remind the gentlemen that your audio is all good. It's on always allow, so then we can hear you on the stream. So then we're not talking into nothingness.
It should be. We're here every week, us three, so. I think we got it.
Oh!
Shots
Hold
fired!
on!
Shots fired!
Where's the boiler open for the rest of the Platinum class?
Well, I stating the facts, but go ahead.
Alright, so let's start off with the interviews. I guess it's only fair that we start off with the race winner. Joe Breezy, that was an absolutely superb drive. Congratulations to you. You looked super comfortable every time I looked your way. Was that the case? Was the car just on point today here at Monza?
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks. But yes, the car, I really didn't change the setup much from last season. It was very little change. It felt good this time as well. Had a little bit of a rough start, but after I got ahead of Freeze, it was pretty calm, collected. Turns felt fine. Picked up a penalty later, but I already had 2 warnings at the start, so wasn't too bad. But yeah, no, the pace felt fine. Everything felt good. I was just paying attention to on track because I knew ghosting was off, stuff like that. So yeah.
Did the race pretty much go to plan for you? Everything, no real hitches, no real problems, no bumps on the road?
I had a feeling I'd get past Freeze at the start. That's been kind of a ongoing thing. So I was like, okay, I'll get ahead at the start, and we'll see what Freeze's pace is. I was gonna use him if I needed to regain ERS, things like that, so we could break away if need be. Turns out he did have pretty good pace, and I was making a few minor mistakes through the turns at the start. So yeah, I didn't mind him passing me. Saved up some ERS and made a mistake myself. Fell behind in the DRS for a little bit, so I burned a little bit to catch him, and then just presumed saving. But after that, yeah, he kind of fell off a little bit. He was losing a little bit of time, so couldn't keep that strategy going. But I think we had a fair enough gap from the rest of the pack that it wasn't that big of a deal. So yeah, after that, everything was yes to plan.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic to hear, and thank you very much for that. Seafreeze, we'll move on to you. Congratulations on a very solid second place. But just before we talk about the race qualifying, that was one hell of a lap. Do you want to take us through it? Getting pole position?
Sure, first I'd like to thank my sponsors, Torodos, Fanatec, Red Bull, and of course Race Dash.
Set out.
And yeah, it was a good lap. I practiced for it. Actually, but I know I'm kind of happy with the pole. I've been I feel like I'm not the best at qualifying, and I feel like this season I'm better at qualifying. My race pace is not particularly there, even though it's in the ballpark. But I'm happy to get another pole, because I usually don't qualify good and track positions a lot. If I qualified 3rd, 4th, or 5th, Preezy would have had an easier win. So, you know, I'm just happy with the pole, and yeah, it was a decent weekend. I'll take it.
Like, did everything go to plan on your end, or were there some just minor mishaps along the way during your race?
Not really. I made one mistake in the beginning half, which allowed Breeze to get back by, but we were going to be stuck pretty much no matter what. And then after the pit stop phase, there was one VSC where it was weird. Like, I had a 2.8 second gap behind Breezy, and then we had the VSC, and I was literally at my delta within a 10th, and somehow I lose a second. So I don't know how you figure that one out. So
Typical
I don't know how you lose it.
stuff.
I don't know how you lose a second. Was Breezy's delta quicker? I don't know, but I come out and it was 2.8 down to 4 seconds. So I don't know what happened there, but pace was alright. I had a little trouble with battery management, although that's kind of how Italy is. But yeah, it was alright. I mean, once the gap was pretty big behind, I just kind of was like, let me just take second, you know. I wasn't really going to push it, you know. So I'll take it.
Very, very well done, Seafreeze. A superb drive from you. And we'll move on to our third place finisher, Mr. Dougie Falcons. Just one simple question. How many times were you yelling at your television multi-21 towards the end of that race?
Not many times, actually. Actually, than what it probably would look like. It was good. Qualified P5. Quite I've had like pretty terrible qualifying in the last few races, but yeah, start was good. As per usual in the last few races, had good starts, and then I think I got up to like 4th or 3rd at one point, probably almost 2nd, and then got rammed up the back by I think Talon or someone. I don't know, someone was behind me. Then yeah, dropped back all the way to like 7th at one point, got back up again, and yeah, it was just kind of a crazy start, but very boring finish. It was very boring mid towards the end, where I wasn't really doing anything, and then I was just like, I'll just hold back and just help my teammate, try and like maintain a gap, because I knew the fast tires and the fresh soft tires, he probably get swapped into the end. So I was just dropping back just so I could help him get back up to 5th place, because I was just like, there's no point. I wasn't really catching the top 2 anyway, and I was on my own, so I had nothing else to do. So I was just like, well, I might as well just help my teammate as much as I could to maintain the position he had, and he finished 5th. So yeah, that was pretty much my race. Was just being a teammate, really. That was all.
Oh, okay, so you two weren't battling at all. You were trying to work together to try and pull away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, that was pretty much our plan from the beginning. As soon as like the top 2 pulled off for like a 5-second lead, it was over anyway. Because it's just how the racing is in this game. It's just like you can't catch if top 2 are slipstreaming each other. There's no point. So it's like, yeah. So the battle was pretty much a 3rd, and we had like a gap beforehand, before the pit stops and everything like that. So we just managed 3rd and 4th, but we finished 3rd and 5th because of penalties. But it's all good. Yeah. So that was pretty much the race.
Oh yeah, thank you. Mr. JB, have you got anything to add? Anything I've missed? I'm sure I missed something.
Well, I normally ask C-Freeze what colour underwear he's wearing, but knowing him, he took them off halfway through. Starting with Dougie.
Let me check. You know what?
You're going to struggle with me now. Starting with you, Dougie. Next week you're off to Baku. Two-part question. One, how terrified are you? And two, do you believe that ghosting should be turned on or off for that event?
Baku, I like Baku. So I'm not really scared of it. I like the challenge of Baku. And two, it should be on because I don't mind ghosting, but if it's off, it'll be kind of chaotic and be crazy, and like there'll be like a billion safety cars. So I don't mind either. Baku's fun. I like the track, so hopefully it kind of reinstates the championship. Albeit I'm like 40 points off. So who knows? Baku could be a crazy one.
C-Freeze?
Yeah, I like Baku. I know Breezy's not good at it, or at least he says. At least he says it.
He never won it.
You never won it. All right. Well, I don't know if I have either. So, no, I like Baku. I love street circuit, so it should be. Although it's an odd street circuit, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think I'll have a shot at it. And as far as the ghosting, I'm pretty sure it'll be on for next race. I think we decided that it'll be on for street circuits and other select tracks, so it'll probably be on next week.
Boo, hiss.
Well, there's a reason for that. If you look back at the Mosh Pit, Season 6, I think it was, my teammate nearly broke my back. Well, not nearly, he did. And if no one knows what I'm talking about, look it up on the channel, the Mosh Pit. It's that's why. crazy incident, and that's probably because of the ghosting and everything. But yeah, I'll look forward to next week.
And Joe Breezy.
Yeah, I suck at Baku. I always pick up wing damage one way or another.
Vibes? Oh, I'm terrible at the circuit. Proceeds to get pole position and win by 20 seconds.
My tyres are going off 10 seconds faster.
No, my tyres are dead. Faster slap.
I've never had good luck there. Let's just say that. My pace is fine. It's just I always mess up, get damage. It's very similar to my Singapore streak. I never win. I pick up damage for some stupid reason. I think the last 2 league races there, I've picked up damage both stints. Yeah, that's basically Baku for me. I don't hate the track. I'm not very good at it. That's all.
Well then, folks. Thank you to all three of the podium sitters for joining us. You can choose to leave now, or you can come and chat with us at the end in our little post chat that we have after the stream. Your choice. No stress whatsoever. Now, Smeg, how was that race for you out of 1 to 10?
Out of 1 to 10, honestly, it was probably about a 6 or a 7 out of what I've seen of what Monza is capable of. Monza is one of those places where it's really chaotic and dramatic. It's one of those places where safety cars can come out of nowhere and we get crazy restarts, and through turn 1 it's just all this chaos in action. But in this case, because it was only 2 virtual safety cars, there wasn't any time where the field was neutralized. The field wasn't brought back together. Everyone, after a while, got themselves into their own little world. But even so, we still saw some pretty good racing, particularly in the midfield. So, yeah, I would rate it about a 6 or a 6.5 out of 10 in my book.
I tend to agree. It was a event that definitely could have had more drama, but I think it produced some damn good racing nonetheless. So, that's this week done for TCR, unless I haven't been told anything and I'm about to get told off after the stream. But that's this week done for TCR. Next week we're heading to Baku for the street circuit of, oh my god, I've ran over my cat. Oh no, I've ran over Seafreeze. Make sure you join us on Tuesday for the Silver Class division. Wednesday for the Golden Class Division. Then I'll be back on Thursday, hopefully, to be taking you through the chaotic Platinum Class Division, where we can see Joe Breezy win by 45 seconds. My name is Jamie. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Smeg, for joining us.
I remember that.
Oh,
Don't you worry. I remember that.
It's been a pleasure to join you and fill in for Blind Machine today. I'm sure he'll be back for Baku next week to witness what is bound to be an incredibly chaotic race. It always tends to be at Baku.
Have a very good weekend, folks, and we'll see you next time. Ta-ra, guys.